it's Michelle, and I've got some more Arteza products to review for you guys today. We're going to be reviewing the Expert colored pencils. Now these are not the watercolor pencils like I had before, but just regular colored pencils. I've also got some eraser pencils, and these come in a set. It's a 6-piece set, which includes 5 of the eraser pencils and a sharpener. And I like these for erasing some of your pencil coloring, for highlighted areas and things like that. I really enjoy that effect. And we're going to be trying those out in the Arteza coloring book. And you can get this that is just glue bound edges or in the spiral. I chose the spiral. I'll have links in the description for all the products that I'm using today. So if you guys want to go over there and check that out. And some good news for my subscribers in the UK. Arteza has extended my affiliate partnership to include UK links as well as US. So I'm really excited about that. So be sure to check which one you're clicking on. I'll specify which one's for US and which one is for UK. And I'll also go ahead and back up to my other Arteza videos that I have done in the past. And I'll update that description with some UK links as well. So if you want to go on over and check out the other videos, you'll be able to get those products too. And although we're going to be using the colored pencils today, I have tested out this coloring book with other coloring media, and it held up to everything without the ink smearing. Let's see, I've got a little page here that I want to show you. I did on the yellow petals here, I think was the watercolor real brush markers, and that watercolor did not move the ink of my coloring page at all. I also used the colored pencils. That's my little rainbow circle there that you see in the center. Also didn't move with the colored pencils. Let's see, maybe the blue here was done with alcohol markers, and even alcohol markers doesn't move the ink of your coloring page here. The rest I did with the colored pencils, and that also did not move the color. So any coloring medium that you want to use, you're going to be able to use in this coloring book. And I just really love this coloring book. It's got some really nice images. And I'll go through and show you a few of those. And the pages are double-sided. And I really like that. Let's see, I don't remember if the alcohol ink bled through. Let me go back and check that, because alcohol ink is usually bad to bleed through. But I don't think it did, actually. These are pretty thick pages. There's my coloring page. And it's not bled through on the other side. So you can even color both sides if you're using alcohol markers, which is amazing. And we've got some little intricate detailed pages in this book, as well as some with larger open areas so that you can do some of the color blending and adding more detail in the larger open areas if you want to do that. I like that you get the option of both. Some are very open and some are very intricate. Look at the intricacy of that one. I think that is just beautiful. And then here we've got some larger images with the croissant and the cupcake and the ice cream sundae. Here are a couple pages with very large open areas, room to do lots of color blending. Smaller images here. There's a large print. I like that. I think that's very artsy looking. That would be really fun to color with some fun shading details and other effects inside of those large open areas. There are a couple that are very small coloring areas. And there's the Arteza A. I really like that. I think that's a lot of fun. And again, some larger coloring images. So I think we'll work on this page here today to try out our colored pencils. And I'm going to go ahead and get one of my eraser pencils out of the pack and my sharpener as well. And go ahead and sharpen that eraser. And you can sharpen that to a finer point to erase out and make smaller little highlighted areas, which I think is a lot of fun. And in our colored pencils, I chose this set of 72. You can get these in smaller sets if you want to do that. But I'm just going to lay everything out so that I can choose from all of those as I'm doing my coloring. I think I'll put my pencils to the side and I'll be able to color here. And like I said, I tried these out already and I was really impressed with the way that they will blend together. So I'm going to choose a few pinks and purples here. I'm going to get this fuchsia and lavender and amethyst. And we'll see how we can blend these purples together. So I'm going to start with the darker color in the center. Actually, I'll tell you what, let's try to blend these around. Let me zoom in a little to show you guys closer up. So I'm going to color a little bit and then blend another color next to it. And you guys can use a blending solution or that blending solution hack that I showed you guys a while back in another video. And I'll link to that if you want to try that. That would work very well too, but just to be honest with you, I'm finding so far that these pencils blend together pretty well on their own without any sort of blending medium like that, which is even better. That is really awesome when you can just blend as you go without the added solution to the mix. So you can see that blends together pretty well right there. And on this leaf here on the apple, I'm going to try to blend together a few greens and see what we can do with that. And a yellow. We'll blend a yellow into that as well. So I'm just going to start with my yellow. And that, what is that called? Ivory. That's beautiful. That reminds me kind of like a pineapple-y yellow. And then I'm going to blend matcha into that. And I'm just overlapping into that yellow area. And that green going onto that blends pretty well. And if you come back with the lighter color and blend that transition area where the two meet, it's going to help it blend even better. And then we'll try our darker green, which is sage. And that's sort of a gray green. It's a very pretty color. And again, blend that back in a little bit with our lighter color. So bring the green into that. And I think that's a pretty nice gradient to have not used any blending solution at all. I think that is beautiful. And I'm just going to pick another random image here. Tell you what I'll do. This curve that loops around here is the edge of a coffee cup. But I think I'm going to make it rainbow color so that we can get a look at blending all of the colors together. Okay, so I've chosen carmine red, pumpkin, ivory, matcha, periwinkle, and lilac. And we're going to see what we can do to make every color of the rainbow blend in together and see if we can get a good blend. And I find sometimes with colored pencils, it works a little better to go in layers, to just kind of lay your color down lightly, blend the color in next to it, and then you may want to come back and add a little more layering, blending a little farther into that next color lightly. And then back over with the light color again. And just make your judgments as you go along. If you feel that the lighter color is taken over, blend a little more of the darker color back in so that you get a good transition. And like I've told you guys before, that's one of the things I really love about working with colored pencils, is that you can go back, you can add layer after layer after layer, and it's never going to be too much like it is with markers. Sometimes with markers you can just completely saturate the paper and it kind of floods the area entirely. And when you do that, it's just going to end up bleeding outside the lines and messing up your image, and you don't get that with colored pencils. So you can layer over and over. And some people might not like to do that, but I do. I like to work with it until I can get that perfected, rather than maybe one saturated application just really sort of choosing its own path. And once it's saturated, it is what it is. I like to be able to work with that and change it. So there we've got red into orange into yellow, and I think they're blending beautifully. So now we're coming in with the green. And again, I'm using a light hand as I blend those two colors together. Bring that green out a little farther on its own. Back into the yellow transition area a little bit. And then if that green is kind of taken over, come back with the yellow and blend. Now I'm blending my blue into the green. Same thing, start with a light hand. And if you use colors that do come next to each other like this in rainbow order, they naturally blend easier into each other because they have some of the same color values in them already. So it really helps to get a good blend like that. And then overlap those lightly, blending the two colors together. And you can see when you get that blend, the colors overlap and sort of form a new color that's kind of an in-between of the two, which is what makes for that beautiful blend. And there is your fading rainbow. I think that turned out beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to take a few colors of red, and do a little bit on this apple here so that I can show you some highlighting with our eraser pencil, and that is the fun part. I really, really enjoy doing that. Okay, so sometimes if you wanted to create a highlighted area here on the apple, you would start off with maybe a pink or a fleshy tone, something that's going to be that lighter version of the red. But we're going to start out and just do it with reds, so we can then come back and do our highlighting with the eraser. So I'm starting with a lighter red here. I'm using the Carmine Red. And coloring lightly. And I find with colored pencils, it works pretty much like crayons. I remember when I was in elementary school with my crayons. I was very particular about my crayons, and whoever wanted to borrow them was not allowed to press hard if they used my crayons, because I always found that it's easier on the pencil and, or in that case, crayon, and it gives a better result if you color lightly, softly over and over and over until you build that color up, rather than just pressing hard and going straight for that immediate dark color. So now I'm using crimson. Looks like it may have a little more pinky tone, slightly purplish in the background of that, just around this upper edge here that the light would be hitting. And then come back with my Carmine Red. And before I get to the lower area at all, I'm going to go ahead and go into that with my magenta, which is a darker red. Actually, let's see, I think I want something a little different. We're going to go for more of a brownish red. Passion fruit, we'll give that a try. So we'll come in with that in our shadow areas. And that sort of brown red is the kind of shadow color you would get with a red apple. And now I'm going to get softer as I come toward where I'm transitioning. I'm going to shadow under that leaf and soften right through here. And you can see where I went over into my other image here, and I can just erase that out with my eraser pencils as well. And that fixes your little boo-boos. I really like that. So now back to my Carmine Red and blend that in to my brown red sort of color with the passion fruit being the shaded area of my apple. Blend that red in right on top of it so you've got a red, sort of a mix of Carmine Red and passion fruit together for your shadowed areas. And right in that little corner, I'm still seeing that other color that I wasn't too crazy about. I'm going to go ahead and erase that out, because I keep seeing that tone. It had a little bit of a purpley tone, and I keep seeing that. So again, very handy with my eraser pencils. And then reshadow that area with my passion fruit. And as you can see, it's not really a brown color. It's just that brown red sort of shadow to your apple. And I'm also taking my Carmine Red right over top of the crimson. So it's just barely a subtle change. And that little divoted area there would be shadowed. So I'm going to come in with my passion fruit right there and shadow that. And I hope you guys can see on screen that nice gradient that we're getting with that sort of shadow area over here. And like I said, if I was creating highlights just with the colors of colored pencil that I chose, then I would have used some lighter colors up at this edge up here. And we can still do that if we decide that just the lightened color after erasing it a little bit doesn't give us the color we want. We can lighten it with that eraser and then add in our fleshy tones or whatever we decide to put up there. And I really love these bristles. These eraser pencils remind me of some that I had when I was in school many years ago. But the bristles are much softer than what I had. I really like these. Okay, so up here where our highlight would be, we're just going to come in and erase that highlight out. And look how good that gives that little highlighted area. Something maybe you wouldn't be able to do just straight by coloring, but you get to erase that out and lighten that color, and I think that works beautifully. But if you want that area to have a little bit more of a fleshy tone, we can come back and do that, maybe with some peachy and pinky tones blended together. I've got pink macaroon and peaches and cream. I'm going to go in with the peaches and cream, because I think that fleshy color is really what reminds me most of apple highlights. That one's not showing up very much. Let's try another peachy color here. Marmalade. And that's giving a good fleshy tone. That's a good apple highlight color. And see, we're able to add that to our lightened area now that we did with our eraser. Maybe make it just a little more pinky. And being able to blend your colors is really wonderful. That way, if you dream up a color that doesn't exist in the set, and most of the colors do exist in this set. This is the huge 72 color set. But you can create any shade of transitional tone in between by just blending them together, because I think they blend beautifully. So that is just a few little sample images there that I colored for you guys to let you see how the color lays down with these colored pencils and the way you're able to blend and get those gradients. And my favorite, the eraser pencils to add these little highlight areas. So that is the Arteza Expert Colored Pencils, and I give them a thumbs up. I really enjoyed using these pencils. I think they're wonderful. I love the way they blend. And I will leave a link in the description below for you guys if you want to go and pick up a set for yourself. I'll leave a link to the big set of 72 that I got, and they have smaller sets as well if you don't want to get the full set right away. I'll leave some links to the smaller sets as well, along with a general link to Arteza's website so you can explore all of their other wonderful art supplies. I had a lot of fun working with these colored pencils. I think they are just excellent, and I can't wait to explore more of Arteza's wonderful products. So you guys leave a comment in the description below. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Give me a like over on my Facebook page. And be sure to join our Facebook group, Crafty Minds. Also follow me on Pinterest and Instagram. And don't forget to visit my blog. I'll have those links as well as Arteza's links in the description below. So be sure and check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.